Okay, what's up? What's up? Hey, what's going on, y'all? What's up? Let me know that you can hear me. Let me know that I'm coming through to you loud and clear. Akasan in the house. My apologies about the delay. We're still kind of setting up here. Getting the Comics Plus crew up in here. What's up, y'all? What's going on? I see you. I see you all. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you are doing swell. Gradually getting all the crew in here as we speak. We got JJ standing by wasting, he said. Sounds good. Boy coming in clutch with the scream. You know it, you know it, you know it. All right. All good, man. All good. I love the Flash logo. I do want to mention. So I'm debating how we're gonna go ahead and do this because I have also Warner Brothers just got back to me earlier today when I woke up that the Snyder Cut reactions the claims have been lifted. So I am debating what I am going to do with those Snyder Cuts. If we're just going to release them while we're live streaming. In all likelihood, I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. Just go ahead and release the cuts, release the Snyder Cuts when we're live streaming. J King, if you sent me something new, I haven't, but the last thing I sent was what? Last thing I saw was what? I'll check my email in a bit. Oh, there it is. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't see the thing. Hmm? No. I'm talking about for part. So I'm talking about part 5 and part 6. One being the what did I say? Cyborg image in the center, and then for part 6, the Joker in the image. That's what I was saying. Unless I don't know, is it not going through? Yeah, no, that's I don't know. Yeah, that's wait, hold on, let me check. Yeah, that's all. I don't have anything else from you. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get this going on. Without further ado, let's release the rest of the Comics Plus crew, and here they come.
Release the Kraken.
What's going on? What's up, JJ? What's up, Tyrone?
My boy.
What's up, everybody? Okay, everybody's here. All right, there we go. There you go. All right.
It's been a while.
Where did Tyrone go? Oh, and Tyrone disappeared. He got scared. Yeah, nah.
Maybe he's stuck in
guys. Good to see all of you guys.
Hey, good to see you too, man.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Good to see all of you.
I know. Did you just wake up, DC son?
This Tyrone.
No, just came back from the office,
gym,
and then went to the gym already.
Okay.
Had an office meeting, then gym, and then now this. Then after this, I'll have a physical checkup because we have to go and get what do you call it? COVID checks.
Yeah.
So we get them on set at least 2 or 3 times a week, and then we also get like a full one done at the hospitals. So exciting.
Huh.
Ooh.
Always fun.
Yeah. Oh my. Yes. Okay. Well, cool. What's up, Tyrone?
What's up, everybody? Yep. Good to see you. I like the background.
Oh yeah.
I love my background.
Yeah. Which cut is that from? Oh, wait, that image.
That's from.
Yeah, I would say that's from the Snyder Cut. Yeah. It's dark enough. Yeah, that it would be from the Snyder Cut. So, all right. You got the whole squad. All right. Well, let's just do this simple. Let's make it simple here. JJ, what did you think of? Because I mean, everybody. That's the main thing. They've heard me talk about this more than enough now. But what did you guys think of the Zack Snyder's Justice League? JJ, go ahead.
I loved it, man. Just so good. Those extra 2 hours just made it all worthwhile. I love seeing a lot more of Cyborg's backstory. Man, yeah, it was just a roller coaster ride. I loved it.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, you basically said it there. Okay, cool. Tyrone.
Yeah, I don't want to go too.
Yeah, it's all good.
For me, I did like it a lot. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I felt it was a lot more, but at the same time, not enough. Where I felt like there could have been a lot more story. I felt like it was a lot of movie, which is good, but it was something missing. Like it needed a little bit more for me. But this is not a bad thing. I was pulled into the story more, and I wanted like a bit more time with dark side, whatever I forgot. And just I don't know, it's something was missing. I needed a little bit more. But other than that, I did love it. It was fun.
Okay. When you say a lot more, are you saying you just wanted the story to continue, or you needed more of an explanation of certain things?
Like, I wanted a lot more story, and also it just felt like something was missing. Like, I felt like he was giving us a lot, but a lot of samples. I feel like it's some parts. I
definitely agree with that.
I can't point out what it is, but I feel like it needed a little bit more.
Or maybe like for instance, there are a lot of people showing up in the movie like for one time, and then you're like, who was that? Something like that, or was it
like that? And just I feel like could have been more to the story too. Like I don't know. Yeah, I can't pinpoint it, but I just felt like I needed more.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds
Can I say
good.
one last thing?
Go ahead.
Aquaman's cheap shot at the end. I just thought Aquaman did really nothing. Like they were playing catchball with him in the sky, just chucking him around.
Right.
So like, I got it.
Stabbing a dude in the back, basically.
No
right?
Bushido there.
Yeah. I thought about that too. I was like, wait a second, damn! Did you just stab this dude
honor in the
back?
Justice League.
I mean, in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Let's make that very clear. I mean, Wonder Woman like murked a few human villains in the beginning of the movie. Like I was like, damn, okay.
On that as well, I tried to watch Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah.
But my cousin who was showing it me it, he didn't like it. And he's not a big DC fan or anything, but he was like, after watching the Snyder cut and seeing her so badass and just kicking the shit out of everyone with blood and everything. Then you watch Wonder Woman 84 and she like beats the guy up, hits the ceiling, falls on the ground, and he's not fucking dead. Yeah. Like, what the hell? And they had way better like everything in that movie. And they just like, I don't know.
Wonder Woman 84 had cartoon physics, man. Like for real.
It felt like it was made for 4-year-olds, whereas the Snyder cut, as an adult, that's what I want to see from like a comic book one. Like even Marvel didn't have the blood that it should have had. That was like, whew.
Well, you also have to think about who you're advertising to, though. Like
there are many people that died in that one.
Yeah. Like rated R, I mean, you know, obviously when a movie goes rated R, it's going to have a lesser of an audience. And
Deadpool didn't. Deadpool,
because it's Deadpool. Yeah. It's Deadpool though. That's one of the things.
And Wolverine, the way it's marketed.
Exactly.
He marketed specifically for teenagers and adults.
Right.
Where when you have the quote unquote comic book movies, people automatically assume it's a family feature until they see the rating. It's like, oh, actually, we can't take our kids to this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or
they walk into Deadpool with their little kids and realize what kind of movie it is. And then they start complaining about how violent it is, the language, stuff like that. Well, what did you expect?
Right.
I don't know. I doubt that because I think
it happened.
Always have it the way it is.
I mean, it legit. I mean, it happened enough that they did release a PG version of Deadpool in theaters and such. So, and then the same thing with Wolverine. So it's one of those things. I mean, you know, obviously, JJ, you don't have kids, but it's one of those things where that is kind of a responsibility. You can't be murking motherfuckers in one scene and then turning around and telling kids they can be anything they want and shit. Like, well, now watch me decapitate this motherfucker. You know, like,
I mean, like,
I don't know. That comes up to parents' responsibility.
I'm gonna blow out the whole side of a bank here.
Because I mean, if you want a PG character, go watch Anpanman. But if you want Marvel and stuff, like that's the comics, man. It, you know, like I don't know.
That is a terrible take, dude. That's like saying Mandalorian should be having decapitations, and like when a lightsaber goes through somebody, you need to see their whole body get sliced in half just because it's comics.
Not going against it, but comic books and Infinity War or whatever you want to do, people died, and you can't.
Yeah, and they died, but you can still die without having blood. They got dusted, and the effect is still there.
I grew up into comics, and I grew up from a little boy. I want to see those people. And
okay, you tell me, where in Infinity War in the comics did you see blood? Okay, yeah, exactly.
I can't pinpoint it, but
because you never read it. That's why. No. I mean, because you can't remember.
Comic collection from upstairs, dude.
You obviously can't remember there being blood. Yeah. Anyways,
although in the movie there was blood, and at least in Endgame.
Yeah, but I mean.
But I mean, it wasn't like, you know,
it doesn't need to be gratuitous though. That's the thing.
No. And the main reason for Zack Snyder's Justice League being rated R was because of 2 F-bombs. Because when the people quote unquote died, it was somewhat off camera, and you could see blood on the wall and assume that's where it came from. It's a gray area. But specifically because of language. And it was because of Cyborg dropping 2 F-bombs.
Jeez.
But which is fine. I mean, but at this point,
2 you get R.
Yeah. And then at the same time, at this point, it doesn't really matter. But it doesn't really matter because the Snyder Cut was always meant to be for a specific audience. It's not supposed to be for the general audience.
For kids.
Right. You're like you're not supposed to be taking your kids to go see the Snyder Cut and watching Stephen Wolf get fucking decapitated, and then right after that his head gets smashed like that. Like like kids don't need to be seeing that shit.
Kids watch Hokuto no Ken in Japan. It's fine.
That is true, but you know, ratings and censorship overseas is very different from America. Like in Europe, you can have, you know, body wash and things where someone is completely nude and it's not considered, you know, pornographic or nasty, where in the States you can't do that. In Japan, you have magazines that are
mindset and culture
supposed to be covered, but they're not, and it's still in the reach of a minor who could pick it up and look at anything, and it's hentai, but it's still different here.
Yeah, it's a mindset. Like I always tell people, like what was it? One Piece, Sanji has a smoke, and in the American version, he has a lollipop. Like I don't know. I think we treat kids in the West without any respect, kind of like that. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to see a cigarette and you're going to go out and smoke, or you see?
Well, it's
actually they very well would.
Yeah, because you're looking at look at actors on TV, you want to do what they do.
I've been around a lot of kids.
The Power Rangers had the same thing, right? Kids watch Power Rangers in Japan, but then when Power Rangers came to America, one kid killed another kid, and all of a sudden, all kids shouldn't watch it. I don't know. I have my take on censorship. I just think, yeah, it happened. That's true.
I mean, kids. Yeah, we see Japanese kids all the time running around pretending to be the Seiya style Sentai warrior type people. Yeah. We see people doing the Kamen Rider thing all the time. But yeah, if you see,
we also see them getting in trucks and riding through Akihabara and murdering people.
Exactly. So
it doesn't really matter what they watch. Yeah, it happened here.
Yes.
How do you not know that?
I know, but you're saying like that's Power Rangers?
No, what I'm saying is what people watch and how they interpret it is depending on that person and their environment, not just because, it's there. Of course, when kids see someone smoking, they're going to wonder, hey, what's that? Or, hey, my mom or my dad does that, so it's okay. It's not just what you're seeing, it's your environment and how it's being handled in your home.
Yeah, exactly.
You can look at something. I can look at cigarettes and I'm not like, man, you know what? I could go for some nicotine. No, I look at it as like, that's what that person wants. It's not for me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not my environment. My environment. Yeah. So it's a little more, it's deeper than how you're explaining it. It's a lot deeper than how you're explaining it.
Oh, I've never said I was good at explaining anything.
I know.
This is an understatement here. Yeah. All right, DC son, go ahead, man. Like let's. People have been asking me all goddamn day.
For the most part, the Zack Snyder Justice League, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I do feel like Tyrone, there are some parts where it's like, I wish I had a little bit more time story-wise with that character or a story thread. There were a couple scenes that I thought were done well, but not necessarily necessary for the film. I have one gripe with Martian Manhunter.
He didn't do shit. No.
Not joking. Yes.
He's like, well, I'll be going now.
That's a twofold answer. One, you've been around since Man of Steel, and you didn't decide to help at all. Now, I could look at it as like, okay, maybe in Zack Snyder's mind, that character was either too traumatized to help, because in the comic books, that does happen to him. He's so traumatized that he can't help until someone convinces him and he feels a part of something. Okay, we'll put that to the side. Or he's like Captain Marvel and he's off planet. Fine. Otherwise, really, dude? Now you decide to seriously?
There was too much fire around Dark.
Apparently, too
around
much fire.
Doomsday.
This looks too much like Fox. Well. I'm a clock out. But him talking to Lois, I had mixed feelings about it. Mixed feelings actor. Because when Martha talking to Lois, I thought was really good and necessary, because you're dealing with two people dealing with loss, grief, and trying to help each other. And when she leaves and you find out that, okay, spoiler if you haven't seen it. Okay. When you find out it's Martian Manhunter, then it's like, damn, really? Because it felt like it kind of undercut Martha's entire conversation.
I agree.
But at the same time, if Martha couldn't bring herself to come to Lois to talk to her about it, that's why he kind of stepped in. So I have mixed.
That's what I thought it was.
I don't hate it, but I'm like, I was okay with it just being Martha.
I just thought on my side, I was like, why?
Why did he show up? I'm like,
no. I was just thinking, I'm like, damn, Martian Manhunter is a bad impersonator, a bad actor of because like that scene felt kind of out of place even before knowing it was Martian Manhunter. I was like, why is her accent like really, really heavy now suddenly? Because I don't remember it being that laid on thick, and that kind of like the acting seemed kind of out of place, so to speak. And then you find out it's Martian Manhunter. I'm like, oh, okay.
I didn't feel like the actual place, but I felt like they were trying to take the essence of the scene that was in the other version and try and tweak it a bit and give it more original dialogue, but keep the same type of atmosphere to it, so to speak. Some of it carried over, some of it didn't. What I found odd about it was when Martha slides her hands across the table and reaches for Lois's, and the look on Lois's face. I didn't have a problem with the acting, but she did seem a bit surprised. And I'm not sure if it was just because the emotion, and maybe that was ad-libbed into it, or it was a matter of her just trying to accept what was being told to her. There's that. With Tyrone, Darkseid, I wanted to see more with Darkseid. I was completely okay with Steppenwolf's head being lopped off. Everybody leaves. Camera pans towards Darkseid, and he steps on the foot, and then it closes to black. Cool, perfect. But having Martian Manhunter and Joker in there, I thought the conversation was cool, but I was expecting something to happen, an explosion, someone to come in suddenly other than Superman, anything. So I'm like, okay, cool. So now what?
Did you like the Joker?
Yeah, actually, I like the Joker.
I felt it was so Keith Ledger, like
his name is
he's
Keith.
trying.
Keith.
Yeah, I know.
Big fan there.
I'm tired.
I liked this version of the Joker more than Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad didn't have a problem with him per se, but I liked him here because he seemed more intelligible.
But did you feel his portrayal? I felt like he really tried to be like Heath Ledger when it was like you could have been your own.
No, I didn't think
you didn't get that.
He kind of felt like
the opposite, actually.
Some of the comic book Jokers too. The image was kind of some of the comic book Jokers look like that as well.
So, I mean, I thought it was right on. I thought it was right on the same as Suicide Squad Joker. Who's echoing?
Really? Huh.
Yeah. So if if you watch the not Ultimate Edition, but the extended edition of the Suicide Squad, even the theatrical cut, it's pretty much prime Joker the same way. It's just apocalyptic version of him,
and his delivery is a bit slower, and it seems like he's putting more thought into what he says as opposed to just spewing it. And I like that version of Joker because he reminds me of the complete opposite of Batman, but always trying to have a plan ahead of everyone else.
Right.
It was good. I liked it.
That's a good point.
Great responding to the comments. Keep going, DC.
What happened to the damaged tattoo? They got damaged in the apocalyptic.
That's why his makeup is more fucked up. He tried to do a Michael Jackson to clean that shit up, and then he was like, "Well, let me do a little touch up here, a little here, some more." Yeah. And then he ended up looking like a raccoon. So
I was okay with him not having the tattoos. I mean, if he had them, fine. If he didn't, whatever. For me, it was more of how he's delivering his lines to the group and not just what's being said, but how it's being said, and looking at it as, okay, this is a different timeline from what we saw the Flash coming back from in BVS. So it means that, at one point he rips the card, and that's why things really went to crap. So it's bad. It's really bad.
Is it a different timeline, or is it just a dream?
No, these are should I explain, or no? All right. So the timeline thing. So basically, Batman is suffering from residuals from the timeline. So other people, because he was somewhat pulled into it, that's why he's having these quote unquote dreams. But basically, it's the same as when Barry had gone back in time and he was able to see other timelines at different points, but couldn't pinpoint what was what or how. That's basically what's happening to Batman.
Oh, okay.
So he's basically suffering from the splits of the timelines. And because the time is changing, he's having these, I don't want to call them premonitions, but basically he's having these visions of those timelines and not sure what to do, because if you follow this path, you could end up in that timeline. But with him not having all the clues, he's lost. So no matter what he does, he keeps stepping over himself, so to speak, and making a similar mistake and not knowing. That's why you had that line from Joker talking about
how many times
are you going to do that? It means that they have tried to go back several times, and within the story, you can only do it once every 5 years, I think it is. So that's why there's been so much time in between, because they have to wait until it's not the solar eclipse. So basically, when the stars align specifically, and he can go back in time and do it.
So it's pretty similar to, well, basically they keep failing and then have to keep going again.
Yeah.
But is that Flash doing it then, turning it back?
Flash is the one that has the power to go back in time. But when he goes back in time, he has to give specific information to Bruce Wayne, but he can't tell him directly, because that will actually create a different timeline.
Where did you get that information on the every 5 years thing?
Interviews from Senor Snyder.
I see.
And from what was written online, from one of the big interviews they had for Warner, and also for the digital red carpet.
Got it. Okay. Were you actually did you take part in the red carpet?
I did, and then I didn't, because we lost connection in the studio here, and it was like, all right, well, whatever. Not a big deal. I mean, who cares? I was happy to see the movie.
Okay, never mind. No,
I was like, in the premiere, cool. Not in the premiere, but I have the link, even better. Because I mean, they basically, on this side, everything is gonna take a long time, and it's going through WoW. It's not going to be HBO Max in Japan. It's going through WoW, which. Oh, yeah.
No, but okay, yeah. No, I mean that's a good point too. But anyways,
yeah, because it actually matters when it comes to licensing for stuff, because they'll, just like everything else, when we have it released stateside in Europe, we won't get everything at the same time, and we won't get all the content either. Mm-hmm. That's an issue.
Right. I will.
That's an issue. But on the plus side, HBO Max and one of the big film studios here are actually working together to do original content as well as get more licensing for the States. And
yeah, as far as I know, they're going to make an announcement sometime next month in terms of the release of HBO Max coming to Japan. But
Whoa, Max. Sorry.
yeah, but on top of that, it looks like we're set to have some form of HBO Max in Japan in May. So
early
whatever.
May, and this time next year we should, quote unquote, be on par with the States as far as content that's already up there.
Let's see.
But you can't watch it high like we can in Canada.
Okay.
You all gave you a weird. That was a lot of awkward silence there.
Because I'm like, to each his own. I mean,
I don't have to be high to enjoy it. He does have somewhat of a point. I might have enjoyed the movie if I was high. That is very, very true. I did enjoy the movie, the abridged 90-minute version of it with Leslie Jones narrating it. That I enjoyed a lot because it was really exciting to actually watch it with somebody who's excited about it. So through her, I enjoyed the movie. So that was good. And it was much shorter as well. Smoke them if you got them. Yeah. I see. Let's see. Is there anything, what did you guys, I'm trying to make a conversation without arguing about it. What did you guys think about the additional characters that were included that originally were cut from the theatrical version? We're talking about Ryan Choi, Victor Salias. What is his name? DC son? Father, Cyborg's father. Victor Stone. Wait, no.
Silas.
Sylvius? Silas, thank you.
Yeah.
Silas Stone, Cyborg's father, his mother, obviously. Who else was in
the
there?
Atom?
Ryan Choi. I guess
As
Martian
soon
Manhunter.
as he popped up, I yelled at the screen. It's like, that's the Atom!
Yeah.
I was super excited about it because that's also the second or third iteration of the Atom. Third.
Got it. Okay, thank you, Negan, by the way, for this resubscription, and Dobie, thank you for following on Twitch. Did you guys feel like the inclusion of these people was a necessary factor, or because there is a huge, not a huge controversy, but there's a thought process that a lot of people of color were cut out of this movie in the theatrical one, whereas at the same time, if you look at it from a standpoint of trying to make a 2-hour movie, the importance of these characters was not, some would argue, would not be as relevant to the actual plot of the, getting from point A to point B with the battle with Steppenwolf. It adds to the characters, but did you think that they were ultimately intricate in telling this story?
Well,
I will definitely go last.
Okay. Well, I like DC's. I wanted to just say that before coming into the movie, I didn't really like Cyborg as all that much as a character, but after getting a lot more of his backstory, and I think adding his family in really helped, I actually really like Cyborg now. I mean, before I was just like, a Cyborg, whatever. But now with his whole backstory and how they handled it, I really enjoyed that character a lot. And as for what you said about time and everything, as Tyrone and DC kind of mentioned before, there was a lot of dialogue I felt that could have been cut, or like one scene that was very prolonged where I thought, well, they could have just said this happened and skipped all of that. And I think that the parts with his family in that definitely shouldn't have been cut, because the character development of Cyborg was amazing, and I really enjoyed watching that. And for Marvin the Manhunter, I kind of agree with what everyone has said already.
Martian. So close. So close.
Give me a break.
Marvin the Martian.
But you know what? Funny enough that is a WB. That's a Looney Tune. That's a Looney Tune character right there, Marvin the Martian. Yeah, that's funny.
At least you stayed with the Warner umbrella.
Yeah.
Martian Manhunter. I know.
Keep going.
Anyways,
Go ahead.
I like seeing him because I used to be a big fan of the Justice League anime, or not anime, the cartoon back in the day.
Yeah.
So he was kind of a cool character, and I would have liked to seen more of him if they had him in, but yeah, I don't want to ramble it long anymore. So go Tyrone.
So I guess for me, I felt in some parts, the characters were needed. Like you said with Cyborg, it helped us get a better understanding of his backstory for people who didn't know his backstory, and it kind of not justifies, but help you understand his emotional baggage and why he's so angry and everything. But yeah, so I didn't have any issue with a lot of the extra characters. I think it just added more story and added more foundation for some of the stories. And I felt it was necessary because we didn't get a lot of Justice League build up to the movie. Like we didn't get like a Cyborg movie and all these movies before it came out to kind of give us their backstory. So they kind of needed to help the audience understand the characters who are not familiar with DC and those characters. My only not an issue, but it kind of made me laugh was the whole Martha scene where with Martian, yeah, but with the Martian Manhunter was, I felt like when he left the apartment, there was no reason for him to turn to his true self, then turn to his human, skin or whatever. I understand it was for the audience, so for people who don't know who that is, so like, oh, that's who it is, and kind of get people excited, like, oh, that was him the whole time. So I felt that scene wasn't necessary because I guess Lois going back to work wasn't a huge part of the story. Like it wasn't like she went back to work and she did something with the story. So we didn't need that scene, in my opinion. But I understand it was important for us to get the emotional connection when she visits the Superman memorial, whatever it was, like the last time. So we see like where she's kind of like letting go and continuing her life. Then he shows up right at that moment. So I get that that's the buildup for it. But other than that, I felt every other scene was fine. It didn't bother me.
That was a quick scene though, too, right?
Yeah, it was very quick though, so it wasn't a huge deal. I just laughed when he like, oh look, it's me, Marvin,
it's me,
Mario now.
Yeah, I agree with Tyrone on the scene where he comes out and he gives the reveal. Like you mentioned, yes, it's for the audience. Was it necessary? Not really. Or for me, I'm like, okay, he goes from Martha and turns into his true form and then fades out. Cool. But to turn into his true form and then show us who he's been portrayed as a human, I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Moving on. It didn't hit me either way. It was cool to see, but it not necessarily necessary. Like they could have thrown that at the end of the movie. It's like, oh, there's a cute little Easter egg, like they did when he goes to visit Bruce, which still annoys me, but we'll get to that another time. As far as having the
Bruce just wanted to go back to sleep, man.
Yeah, and you can tell that the fight, that when he gets visited, it's definitely long after everything has happened, because Bruce is actually a lot lighter. I don't know if you noticed this, but
yeah,
he's much thinner. But anyways, and he looks a bit older. So what I was gonna say is, with the characters, yes, I think they were intricate to the story. They were intricate to the story for several reasons. One of the easiest and basic reasons is showing how the torch is being passed to the next, and not necessarily on the quote unquote superhero level, but also on the day-to-day. So like Ryan taking over for Star Labs, that was very important because that leads into his eventual story of becoming the Atom. Yeah, that happened. Silas dies and he appoints him as the new head. That's why he takes over that department. Happens at the end. And that's important because that's building his character to let everybody know. Well, for fans that do know who that character is, oh, he really is going in that direction to become the Atom. That's cool, because that also gives you another, it gives you more depth to his character in general. But also, yes, I do feel like directly or indirectly, a lot of the persons of color their scenes were definitely chopped completely out of the movie, the theatrical version. And then seeing it here, it's like, wow, that really sucks, because as good of a director as Joss is for some people, it also taints the water more. It doesn't help what's been said about him recently, which is painful because he's come up with some really good stuff before. And it's like, well, how did you go so wrong so fast? Because, you know, when he did Firefly or
well,
Serenity,
I mean,
those things seemed interesting because I had a good mix of a cast. But with this, and things that happened before, that's before. But dealing with Justice League specifically, it's like, wow, you really just ripped the heart out of a character and most of the story to save time. Well, then why not cut down on the unnecessary scenes that you put in and leave the story there? Because that would have made more sense. Cyborg Story was, I feel like JJ, you know, at first you feel kind of on the ropes about his character. Well, I don't know. Do I like him, not like him? There's not much to his character to be involved into him. But to see this story, yeah, you feel for him. And something that you notice, the thread going through all the characters, every last one of them have faults. That's something I liked. Every last one of the characters are very different from what you would see in the comic books.
A lot of daddy issues.
Classic. No, I mean, they have faults. They're not perfect. They're very, very humanized. Like Cyborg, when he's in university, you know, he hacks to help somebody. That's not really the right thing to do, and it's not the right way to go about doing it. But he does it because he's trying to do right by someone else, or to help someone else. Okay, you get that, but it's not really the right thing to do. Yeah, Wonder Woman manhandled a bunch of terrorists, you know, and painted the walls with their noggins, but that's really not the perfect thing to do. It's not the perfect thing to do in front of, you know, school kids, but at the same time, they're being shot at and threatened to be killed. So she does that. Was that last move a little overkill? Yeah, just a bit. But I also like that they did that because they showed that, yeah, she still has some faults. She's not perfect. Having these heroes be there and not be perfect, I thought was very human, because we're not. We try. We may not succeed in everything, but at least we're trying. That doesn't say
we had that conversation with the boys before.
but it's not an excuse for, you know, people being killed off and stuff like that. But I like that it's a more realistic take on the characters as opposed to what we usually get in comic books.
Yeah, I agree. Well,
I don't want it to be the same, because if it's the same, then I don't need to go watch the movie. I'll just read the comic book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, that was a little longer than I expected.
That's fine. Andrew, thank you for the $5. Appreciate that. Yeah, Martian Manhunter, the true villain of Man of Steel, just stood there like a passive waste as Superman got jumped by 3 Kryptonians. I think he was scared, man. I think he was really scared.
He's got a good point. He's got a good point, because like, he's there. He could have helped out.
He knew his brain would get splattered. They'd rip his ass apart, man. Yeah.
But as one of the commenters said,
I got your back. Something. It's like, okay, cool.
And I wanted to say was, what if Manhunter was the mom the whole fucking time?
Then I'd say you've been smoking way too much since you've been back.
No, but there is an ongoing theory.
I'm just teasing.
What if?
There's a whole theory that he actually raised.
Like a watcher. Maybe she died and then he took it upon himself to take her place to kind of soothe the equality, or like that.
Well, the only fault in that is if they stick to comic logic the way they do with some things, Superman would have known when he got older and got his powers, because he could actually sense that.
I hate that. I hate Superman.
Yeah,
just saying.
To each his own. To each his own.
He's too god mode.
There's nothing godlike about it. It's just part of your powers. Just like, you know, Martian Manhunter, he can sense other people. You know, on a power level, they're very, very similar. Okay, so I mean, Martian Manhunter breastfeeding, like, that's gross. That's so nasty.
Well, even worse, Martian Manhunter being the wife to the father. Ugh, right?
Yeah.
Take one for the team.
You're saying that's why he actually stepped into the tornado? He's like, no, let
He
me
found
go.
out the truth. No, just get me out of this nightmare. This is the real nightmare scene, Clark. This is my real nightmare. Yeah, just let me go. Let me go.
Alternate
Okay.
timeline.
Actually, this is a particular question I wanted to ask DC Sun about in terms of the black suit, because I have my issues with this entire black suit situation, the way that Snyder handled it. But I have issues with a lot of things Snyder does with Justice League, obviously. But
I can tell.
Yeah. So in this version of the story, we'll just go with Zack Snyder's version. Clark is resurrected in a Kryptonian ship. Clark does his pet cemetery thing, fights the Justice League shirtless, disappears with Lois for reasons, and then squats at his house so nobody will come take his farm. And then he comes back to the same ship, I believe. Yeah, right? The same ship, right? He comes back to the same ship.
Oh wait, when you say same ship being the one he was resurrected in? Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah. I guess that was Zod's ship, right? Yeah. So because his ship, yeah. Anyways, so there's 4 costumes displayed. His, I guess, father's ish type of Kryptonian, like ceremonial suit.
Ceremonial. On the far right you have the Explorer suit, then you have the ceremonial, then you have the normal, which is what he actually wears, the blue, and then you have
the red. The red and blue. And yellow. So there's in the original version that was the black suit, but in Zack Snyder's version he colored it for reasons. Now, after that he comes out with an entirely different suit, the black suit, a gray cape, goes up to the sun, does his Jesus thing, and then proceeds to wear this suit for the rest of the movie, group shot and all.
How you're trying to find a way to word it. Just say it.
Yeah, no. In your headcanon, would you say that this is the solar regeneration suit? Or would you say it's just a Kryptonian formal wear suit?
I would say in Zack Snyder's universe, it's probably a 50-50 split. One, definitely something ceremonial, but if something were to happen, that suit is available, kind of thing. I do see that he's nodding without saying directly. This suit helps him absorb more.
Nutting. Let's make that clear. He didn't say nutting. Go ahead, DC.
Okay.
Keep going.
This suit helps him absorb more sunlight faster, so his body can heal, which is why he immediately goes up to the sun. Okay, I see they do that, but not saying it directly. Okay, that's fine. Initially, yes, the suit is meant for absorption of sun rays faster so his body can heal after being in a coma. Cool. Not saying it, I mean, I'm neither here nor there. I mean, they mention it, cool, they don't, whatever. Him wearing it from that point on, him wearing it from that point on in the movie, I'm happy about. I'm happy about for a couple reasons. One, the original suit that he's wearing definitely has a massive hole in it, given there's another one hanging up there. And I look at it as maybe he hasn't recovered from the trauma of death that way. So he leaves it there and he takes the other suit instead. And that's how I looked at it. I looked at it as like, okay, he's coming back. He's not the same as he was. He's basically trying to relearn how he was and how to fit in again. So he just grabs that suit, puts it on, and he's out the door. The blue suit, it stays there until he's ready. And I don't think he was ready for it. And that's why I didn't pick it up. And I'm okay with that. Makes sense. And then also on the fan service side, him not wearing the black suit would be a disservice to the storyline, but also to fans, since he had teased that prior to the movie being released. Then the studio said, no, we want you to keep the blue one because we've already marketed these toys. So he has to change it. So him wearing it, yeah, it was cool. I liked it. But I mean,
Like-
it didn't make me feel like, oh, he's not the same Superman as before. Well, no, he's not. He, quote unquote, died. He's not. He came back different, of course. So, no biggie.
With a little bit of brain
Hopefully that
damage.
answered your question. If it didn't, let me know.
No, I didn't really care, but I'm glad you got it answered. I just wanted to make sure that people got your thoughts on it. No, I take issue with it only because, particularly as a comic book fan, I'm like, well, if you're gonna do it, make it make sense, so to speak. Like, don't let like I don't always like the fact that fans need to essentially explain to themselves why this works and such. And I can get on the other side why the WB is like, yo, wait a second, we're getting complaints that your storylines are too dark. You want to bring Superman back and have him look like a fucking evil ass dude. Yes, fans understand the importance of a black suit, mind you, minus the cape. Most of the time we do see Superman in a black suit, gray cape. He's usually somewhat evil or some sort of like injustice or whatever, or he's not the prime Superman. Like there's a time in the New 52 he did the black suit, but even then there was no cape. So it's kind of like especially within the WB nowadays, whenever you see the black and gray suit, it's a like evil ass Superman. Elseworlds, especially
like
within
the Superman had black, didn't he?
Especially within the CW world, we literally just saw Superman like obliterate an entire army wearing a very similar suit.
But the one that they showed in the first crossover, he wasn't evil.
What?
In the CW version, that and dealing with Zack Snyder's film, I think that the reason he has the cape is because that was the only way to get it approved by Warner. Because it's like, if he doesn't have a cape, he can't have the suit. He has to have the cape because they want him to fit within a certain image, even if he changes the color. So it's like, okay.
Yeah. So personally,
can I mention one thing real quick?
Well, I wasn't finished yet. Hold on.
But, okay.
But go ahead, JJ. Go ahead.
No, it's okay if you weren't finished.
Okay, because for me, I'm like I feel like this really could have been solved a lot simpler, because I've always hated that casket scene and them throwing his body in there into that placenta or whatever, where I feel like
the version, you mean?
Both versions. I think Zack Snyder's version did it better, but I still didn't like that whole toss the fathers thing into the placenta situation.
But, in Zack's version, it actually just fell out of his pocket as opposed to being chucked. That I noticed. I had to stop and watch it again. It fell out, and I'm like, okay, I feel better about it coming out of his pocket, and they didn't notice, as opposed to them chucking it in and no one caring, because like that's disrespectful to his dad. But it actually just fell out and they didn't notice because they were focused on
too busy trying to resurrect it. So for me, I feel like I felt like as much explanation as that ship was doing, I was like, and when wait, I'm gonna have to mute somebody because I'm echoing a lot here.
Yeah, you're echoing bad.
I don't know, but here, I'll just mute myself.
There you go. Test.
It's always DC.
It's because he doesn't have it.
It's always DC.
Yeah. Interesting. Yes, you have a microphone. I see. Yes. Okay.
That's why that's why you're hearing the echo, because it's echoing through my mic.
Yeah. Okay. So Flash is coming up here with the casket. He's pushing through. The ship knows that Kal-El is around. I feel like it could have been so. Okay, I feel like no, we're better now. I feel like at that.
No, we're not.
No, we're really not.
You know what? Here, I will disconnect it, and it's on the floor. There you go.
Just mute yourself for a minute while I'm talking.
Well, no, it's better now.
Yeah, as long as you just mute them, it's fine. But that's it. So, all right. So I feel like the ship could have just been like, all right, Kal-El is here. I see what you guys are trying to do. You're trying to bring this dude back. Look, let's slip him into something better or whatever. In comics wise, usually the corpse disappears somehow, some way, and the ship somehow he ends up back in the ship, and he's in a super coma, so to speak, and he's already in the black regeneration suit. I feel like at that moment in time, the ship could have done something really quick and been like, okay, let's get him out of these clothes. Let me set him up into the bodysuit. Then they do the whole thing where the ship actually helps bring him into the placentia with the black suit already, and that would have led into a badass fucking fight. When he's fighting the Justice League, instead of being shirtless like that, like, yeah, he's in the like black suit, you know, fighting these dudes, and then he flies off with Lois, blah blah blah, all this other stuff. He does the sun radiation, get that information, and then you know, somewhere along the lines, he comes back to his classic red and blue. But I also know that Snyder is also trying to, in his version of this story, he's trying to tell a story that eventually leads to an eviler Superman or a influenced Superman. So he wants to keep this like black and gray sort of evil look for the most part. So
do you think he would do the Nazi Superman?
Sorry.
Or probably not, eh?
Go ahead, JJ.
I was just going to say, do you think with pushing for the more evil Superman, I really like that storyline where they all became like Nazis. Do you think they could make a movie rendition of that?
Well, are you talking about Red Sun? Or are you talking about
the that Red Sun was the Soviet one, wasn't it?
That was Red Sun. Yeah. So they're not necessarily Nazis,
where he was
but yeah, they're just like they're just Russians.
You're talking about the crossover on the CW?
I think so.
Hmm? No, well, there's three. Okay, so there's three different versions. There's Red Sun, which is not necessarily Nazi. It's just that
it wasn't that. That was like Russian.
Right. And then there's the one where there's a universe where all of them are basically Nazis in the comics for a quick second, but I don't think you're familiar with that one. And then there's the big CW crossover, which was Earth X, where essentially Hitler, all of them are literally Nazis.
Yeah, that's what I meant, I think.
Yeah. Because that's where Earth X's thing was taken from.
Right. Because I don't even think Superman was in that one. Supergirl was, though. Yeah.
There was another one where Superman was blonde. Anyways,
but that wasn't Superman. Oh, we'll get to that later because that's going
to go in a completely
different direction story wise. Tyrone, go ahead because I have something to tell Akasan after you.
All right. Well, I have to go because I have work soon. I just lost time, so I got to get ready for work. But I just wanted to say this was fun. It's good to finally talk. About this. And it was a 4-hour movie though, so it took me a couple of days to watch it because I was also finishing the final project for my graduate program. So I was watching it between my breaks. But so this was great, and it was a good movie. And I'm a little disappointed that they're not going to continue with his vision because I'm curious where he was going to take it. But we'll see. You know, maybe DC will catch up tomorrow. Maybe not, probably not. But no, they're gonna keep pushing out. I don't know. Well, I'm hoping that maybe with The Rock's Black Adam and all of these movies will be a good supplement.
Yeah.
I
agree. Have faith on that one. Yeah.
And Tyrone hit me up about the Karate Kid stuff. We still got to do podcasts.
I got you. Karate Kid with you. Star Wars with DC-san, Akasan. All the things.
All the things.
All right.
Man. All the things.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys take care. It's been nice talking to you.
All right, man.
And you too.
All right.
Take care, man.
Okay, take care.
Take care, man.
Later, dude.
Aka, as far as what you were talking about a minute ago, reasons why I understand and I like your thought process, but the reason it won't work in Zack Snyder's version because of these small points. One, what you're talking about when his body ends up disappearing and then ends up in the Fortress of Solitude, that's because Helix actually comes and gets him. Helix is the AI, one of them. There's like 17 of them that help out and assist Superman in the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah, I know why it doesn't work in his world.
But it doesn't work in this world because Helix was destroyed. You're on Zod's ship. So Zod's ship, the ones that look like Helix, they're actually in tune with Zod's AI because Jor-El's AI was actually erased in Men of Steel. Yes. So the only place that's available is Fortress of Solitude. So being in Zod's place and everything being rewritten and redone because of Lex and then Cyborg and it being a mix, that's why they don't recognize it. So that's
but
why
at the
Cyborg
same
actually
time,
has
the
to
ship
hack
does
WBs.
recognize him, though.
No. The ship
Cyborg?
doesn't recognize him after Cyborg is hacking. That's why it tells him not to do it. It warns him several times, don't hack into this because it's going to cause a problem. And it does. And that's part one of that problem. The second part of that problem is when Flash actually runs, because in this version, he turns time back because he doesn't make it in time. And that actually creates a separate timeline. Another conversation.
Damn.
Now, him coming back in the black suit and fighting the Justice League and then flying off Lois, I like that. I think that's pretty cool, and it's similar to what happens in the books and things of that nature anyway. So I'm like, okay, that actually would have been a really cool take on the costume and then potentially change it later. And I agree with him not changing his costume, so to speak, until much later, because yes, he's going to take a turn because in his planning, he gets possessed by Darkseid. He's now working for Darkseid. And then when the timeline gets fixed, you can't really say fixed because you can't really fix it perfectly. Yeah. When he gets fixed, that's when he goes back and being in the actual blue and a better version of himself, because everything we're seeing is
I know, and I get that point.
Yeah,
but I can also see WB's reasoning for this situation. I'm like, it's like the first time you're ever gonna have the. Hold on, I'm gonna mute you for a minute. Just a moment. Okay, thank you. The first time you're ever gonna have the Justice League on screen for the first time ever, and you kind of have Superman essentially out of place in some sense without being in the classic suit. I mean, he essentially looks like Batman's twin or Batman's brother in a lineup situation. That's all I'm trying to say. In a lineup situation, the first time ever, it's almost the same as like having Iron Man, well, not Iron Man, and Captain America in his red and black or the U.S. agent,
or Iron Man in the Hulk smasher,
or something like that. But it's kind of like it's the first time ever, or like Iron Man in a War Machine outfit or something like that. First time ever, you want that kind of symbolism. And I get what story he's trying to tell, but I also kind of see what the WB is sort of thinking, like, yo, we want this dude back. Because I even remember with the theatrical advertisements, they were showing him even though we had no idea that he was supposed to be coming back. They were advertising him as essentially coming back in the red and blue, and he is the standard of hope, and hope returns, blah, blah, blah. So I get what the story he's trying to tell, but I also feel like I know where WB was trying to go, where they're like, look, we want you to be excited about this movie because hope is coming back. The Superman is coming back.
One thing I wanted to say, the one thing I wanted to say way back before, though, was I kind of, as a fan, and I'm not a super fan like you guys, but as a fan, I didn't mind the black suit. But as someone who wasn't, how to say, like, he knows of the characters, but he never watched or read watched the shows or read the comics. My cousin, I watched it with him. Like, he knows Superman. He watched a lot of the Batman movies. He liked Aquaman, blah, blah, blah. He didn't mention the suit once. He knew it was Superman, and he fucking loved the film. He loved it. And I think that Zack Snyder, by doing an adult version, by doing it like this, he gets a whole nother fan base. Yeah, it's not good for the kids, but I think in the longer run, they probably have a bigger fan base because it's getting people that weren't DC or comic book fans, but are riding the waves of the Marvel success and being able to watch this and see a mature film. Because again, he loved it. He's like, I can't wait. I'll buy the DVD. I'm going to watch the next one. I'm going to watch the next one. Before, he'd never had interest in Wonder Woman or any of those films. So Snyder really put DC on the map, I think. And hearing that he's not going to have another sequel, I think is a bad move on their part, because I think it would be a great success after watching this. Did you see on Rotten Tomatoes, like, all the ratings went up? Fans, Rotten Tomatoes
doesn't mean jack shit anymore.
It doesn't, but
Rotten Tomatoes, and you definitely cannot play that card after BVS and Suicide Squad and all that. Like I kind of take issue with people that keep on toting the Rotten Tomatoes thing now, because when BVS first came out, that's the main thing WB was saying was like, but even it's been proven like the fan system has been hacked and bought so many times. Where
I just use that as an example. If you look at what fans
but it's a terrible
saying
example to use. So but it's a terrible example to use because it's been proven time after time that if people hate the movie, they will go in and what do they call it? Whatever. But they do No, they do multiple accounts and they attack it to lower the rating. If they like it, they come in and like it's been proven time after
maybe
time.
IMDb, I don't know, give something. But I
see the point you're making. But it's so funny to me. Like I always find that very hypocritical that when BVS and Suicide Squad, all of them came out, they were like, don't listen to what the critic, like make up your own mind. Like the Rotten Tomatoes is paid for by Disney, blah, blah, blah. And now suddenly, hey, check out them Rotten Tomato ratings. I'm like, come on now. That's so
I just mean, if you ask fans too, the Snyder Cut was definitely it needed. And my cousin also watched the first Justice League, and he was just like, yeah, that was going to be like the last time I watch a DC film. And then he watched the Snyder Cut and he's back into it. Like, I think casual fans or even people that barely know the DC universe can really get into the Snyder Cut. And that can...
I would disagree, but respectfully.
But you're speaking as a super fan, though.
No, I'm not. I'm speaking as a general ass dude. Like, people not understand. Like, I've seen enough people watch this movie and be like, what is going on? Who is that? Why did this happen?
Really?
Like,
I've never heard that yet.
Remember,
you
was
also
definitely
live in Japan. I'm back in the West.
That has nothing to do with it. I'm like literally reading a lot of comments and critiques. And like I said, Leslie Jones was a good example of me. Like, she enjoyed it, but she's like, what the fuck is going on in the story like that? So I wouldn't say it's the best jumping point, but if you have somebody to help ease you into it, yeah, I think it's a good way if you have somebody to explain it to you sometimes. So but I think that it's great if it gets people into if it creates new fans. But actually that's a good segue point into the next topic is the continuation. DC Sun, did you have something you wanted to say before I change the subject into
just very quickly and shortly? I like that there are unhumanly stationary. Sorry, I'm just listening. When it comes to the Snyder Cut, you're gonna have, when it comes to movies in general, you're gonna have fans that are gonna be split. I won't say down the middle because then you break into different camps in general. People that enjoy it because it's in this case, a superhero film in general. Doesn't matter if it's DC or Marvel. Just because they're seeing a superhero on the big screen, they enjoy it. Then you have fans, hardcore fans of the property and the IPs, and it's like, wow, I really like that. I get to see one of my favorite characters on screen. I may not like the story thread for everything that they did, but I'm grateful that it was made in general. You have those fans. Having movies where you're introducing characters or you have cameos by people, unless you are a hardcore fan of said IP and you read absolutely everything that's ever printed, they're going to have cameos and stuff that you're not going to know. And whether it be DC, Marvel, or an independent studio, it's going to happen. And that's okay because it's also part of marketing. Because when people see that character, it's like, oh, I don't know who that is, but that Asian guy is kind of cool. There's finally an Asian character in this film. Oh, who is that? Or let me research them. That's why they're there. So people, when the movie's over, go back and research these things to try and reinvigorate the other things that they have in marketing, whether it be a comic book, a video game, or whatever. So these cameos are important for, So these cameos and things are important, not just for storytelling in said film, whether it be in this or in WandaVision or whatever. It's out there like that to try and reinvigorate people into picking up other things when that is over. I like that this was 4 hours. 4 hours. Oh, that's the general marketing plan, but I like that it's 4 hours, but I also like that it's done in a way that you don't have to sit there and watch all 4 hours straight through. You can stop and pause and go and do whatever you want to, watch it in parts, and it's good. Definitely. Hey, I really like parts 2 and 3. Okay, just go watch 2 and 3 like you would with the Blu-ray. So
JJ, did you watch it straight through?
I had to take a break because
It was long.
yeah, we ended up watching it late, and then I watched it at my cousin's house and took a break and watched the other half the next day.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm
watched it straight
assuming,
through.
yeah.
course.
That's of course.
That was one of those that's like,
That's not even a question.
if I want to sit down and watch this, and the type of viewer I am, if there's something I can watch in its entirety from start to finish, I'd rather do that. Now, if it's a TV series and I can break it up, I'll break it up. But in this one, it's like, I'm just going to knock it out, see what it's like.
I wanted to watch
what I'm
it
getting
all.
into. So I just watched the whole thing.
Time-wise, I couldn't. It was 12 a.m.
Same. But
I would
yeah,
have. I would have
yeah.
liked to watch it in one go. But the one
And
thing I
then
want to say
went
real
straight
quick
to
with
set
the
right
Atom,
after.
I don't know who the Atom is. Truth be told.
No, but that's good. That's
I know.
That's the point of it. It's made for people. Oh, I don't know who that
But
is.
if
And people
he
research
made the
it.
second part, and explained it, and then showed a flashback to the first film, that would make me want to watch the first film again.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
that would be
But that's what those
great
things are there for.
storytelling.
They're hints and nods to raise that kind of question. But I mean,
Yeah.
those things are there all the time. So
So I
even
think
if you
those
don't
are
go back
good,
and watch it, at least that character got some screen time, because so far we haven't had any Asian characters on screen for DC. And if we have, someone let me know, especially in the Snyderverse, because as far as superheroes, I haven't seen one unless I missed it. And if I did, let me know. So I was happy just to see him. And he's a really interesting character in general.
Yeah.
But I feel like the
Oh,
movie wasn't meant to be 4 hours at once. I think maybe the usual 2.5 hours, and then the other chunk actually being a follow-up or on a Blu-ray.
I don't mind the 4 hours though. Like what was Marvel? 3 hours?
Although he says he meant for it to be 4 hours, but I also think it's because it took 4 years to get it done. So at this point, he means it to be 4 hours so he can be done with it.
But not just that, I think Snyder has said that he wanted to, if he was going to do it in 4 hours, he wanted to put intermission, like in the theaters, to do an intermission. And then if originally he wanted to release it in 4 parts because he knew that would be easier to digest, but legally there was going to be a bigger problem because all of these people in the back didn't sign on for a miniseries. They signed on for a theatrical release, and that's that. So he was just like, you know what, just release it as is, 4 hours, and people can just take breaks. I unfortunately watched it straight through with 300 something people watching me live stream, like literally for 4 hours. So it felt much longer than it actually was, but because the pressure was on to be entertaining at the same time. But it was interesting. It was a very interesting thing. But let's shift over. Hold on, somebody has a question. No, I'm not going to answer that. Right? Hold on, let me take a look real quick. Einstein, I have a question. You clearly don't like Snyderverse, and you don't want it to end, and you want it to end, but you do realize WB to want a shared universe. They clearly want to do standalone. What is he saying? WB don't want?
The question
Translate
is,
for me.
WB can't decide on having a shared universe or standalone. So first they're like, we're just going to do standalones, but now trying to play catch up marketing is how people look at it, is they want to have a shared universe, but it's not going smoothly.
I thought he meant like they do want a shared universe, and when they want a shared universe, is Flash is creating these alternate timelines.
Well, initially that was what was supposed to happen when things were going the way they were, and that the Snyderverse, or excuse me, this Zack Snyder's Justice League wasn't going to be quote unquote coming back. They had no intentions on doing this version. That's basically what was going to happen. And then we got hit with Corona. So everything got backlogged 2+ years. So now it's like, okay, well, what do we do? I am with a lot of people where, hey, the restore the Snyderverse. You've gotten all this out. Just finish the story.
Yeah.
If you're going to reboot it and do other things, that's fine. Just finish the story and move on from there.
I completely disagree with that.
I feel if they reboot, then I'm going to lose interest, because it's just like you invest yourself in characters and then they just disappear. You get another one. If anything, it was like what was I talking about with a buddy the other day? We're talking about this character that kept getting remaked. Oh, 007. Sorry, this is going to go a little bit off, but now supposedly they're talking about having a black female lead as 007.
She is.
Okay.
It's already happened.
Yeah, and
Yeah. Just the
to
movie.
me, I'm like, I don't care about a black female lead agent, but why can't it be 009? Why can't they just end it being James Bond? Like James Bond has been recycled many times.
JJ, the whole point of the 007 is it changes. It's not always
it's
James
a moniker,
Bond.
but it's like just retire the moniker, make it 009. Why can't people do that? Why
It's not LeBron James.
009 was evil.
Huh?
Yeah, 009 was evil as fuck.
He was evil as hell.
Well, 00 whatever, you know what I mean? Like, just make a new character instead of rehashing.
Well, they
it.
are making a new character. She's just getting the code name 007.
Right. And James Bond is still in the movie.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I would more prefer it as a fan if they just left him, made a new. Why people don't is because they want to ride on the coattails. The same with Justice League. If they had to recast everyone again, I would be upset. But if they brought a new Justice League with like a Hawkman and other characters, I would find entertaining.
That's what's happening in Black Adam's movie. He's already cast.
Yeah, and I think Black Adam is going to be fucking amazing because of that.
Yeah, but that's
he might outshadow Superman now.
But I mean, the whole point of the Justice League and the Avengers is that it's an ever-changing team.
Yeah, but we will never really see it that way because Spider-Man sells. You know what I mean? Like Spider-Man now has how many actors?
But when you think Avengers, you don't automatically go to a Spider-Man.
I personally don't, but a lot of like casual fans do. When you think of like Justice League, it is those main ones, and when you think of Avengers, it does come up Spider-Man, Captain America, Iron Man. Those were the founders of the Avengers.
No, they weren't.
Well, not the founders, but they were on one of the best team. You got to quit riding my balls, okay? I mean, I have all the comics. I don't read them every day.
Apparently you don't.
I don't think he's riding. You're just digging your own grave. That's all.
I know. We're just letting you talk, dude. Like
we just handed you the shovel. You're the one that keeps digging.
Like, I mean, if you're talking about literally the franchise big team players, let's reinvigorate the Avengers, the new Avengers. Yeah, that's, I guess, if you want to say Spider-Man is a founder of the new Avengers.
Well, I mean, like he's the image to a casual fan.
I would
to a casual fan. Yes,
completely disagree with you on that one. Okay. Like if you said Captain America, yes, I get that.
I did say Captain America.
No, if you stuck to Captain America, okay, then I'd be like, okay, maybe I can see where you're going with this, but like, nah, dude. Spider-Man is his own dude. He just occasionally shows, just like Batman, he just occasionally shows up as part of the team.
I know, but he's a more memorable member of the Avengers than a lot of them, truth be told.
In X-Men, but he occasionally cameos in Avengers and Alpha Flight and other teams, but no. You say
okay, this is like we lost track of like what the original. Okay, hold on. He said, I'm sorry, WB doesn't want a shared universe. WB wants standalone films, which is the reason DC will never be as big as Marvel. Snyder is the best option for a shared universe. I disagree with that, but to answer your question about that, I don't think nothing should ever be on the hands of just one person, particularly because, again, I feel like particularly with Zack Snyder's Justice League was another example of what went so wrong with BVS that so many people complained about, is that you were throwing so much and burning through so many storylines that you never had a chance to really obtain and really appreciate the current storyline that was currently going on. But we're gonna go ahead and throw in Martian Manhunter. He wanted to put in John Stewart as well. We got the Nightmare Time, though. We got the Injustice.
He wanted John Stewart instead of
Martian Manhunter. I get that
because they had a Green Lantern in the storyline already.
Right,
and
I know
that mantle's been passed down. Hence, Justice League members.
You got all these sort of stories. Okay, so hold on. You got all these sort of stories, and furthermore, my bigger problem with this is like, particularly with the Flash. I'm like, wait a second. Did they just like? I get there's a point where he needs to somewhat tell Flash's origin story, but at the same time, I'm like, well, what's left for the Flash movie for people that are just going into the Flash movie themselves? Like, are we gonna have to reintroduce Iris West again? Are we like, if he goes back in time, like what him doing his sort of final move in going back in time? To my knowledge, there's usually a consequence for always doing something like that. You know, it's even stated in the Snyder cut, but it's kind of like, well, what else are you going to leave for the regular Flash movie? It feels like you're kind of taking a lot of good things without fully explaining them and giving the development that the characters deserve. But to answer his question at the bottom, you know, well, the standalone movies are doing a lot better than the group team up movies. Aquaman did over $1 billion. Joker did over $1 billion. I mean, Birds of Prey is questionable. It happened during around Corona time, but it was a cheap budget as well. Shazam was filmed with a cheap budget, but it was somewhat successful. WB will continue to do what WB makes WB money. If BVS was successful, like the $1 billion market, then we wouldn't be having this problem, but it wasn't. So, I mean, again, some fans may really like what Snyder is doing, but at the same time, there is a good majority of people that do not want Snyder to come back, do not want him to continue the story, and would rather give. Like, I personally am not. I would not be interested in a sequel of his Justice League, where most of the movie is going to be a nightmare storyline or a dreary type of thing. Like, if anything, from what this has kind of taught me, and people being excited to see Superman on screen, I'd rather just see a good Superman on screen instead of.
I agree with you on having
like that.
a Man of Steel 2 movie would be fantastic.
I'd rather have that a lot. Like you can't.
I want that.
Wait, hold on. But before you continue with that, my whole thing is like, look, if anything with what Snyder has taught me is the fact that Henry Cavill is an amazing Superman that has yet to have a chance to be Superman. And you can't deconstruct these characters and give us a fucking evil ass Superman if I never had anything to hold on to in the beginning of what's missing. If the anti-life equation takes over and we get evil ass Superman, well, I didn't really see much of him being the hero that I know for me to really feel anything from that in my particular situation. So
you need to know again.
Like, do I need 5 movies? Do I need to wait 5 fucking movies till I finally get the Superman that is
most? Do you need 5 origin movies though?
What? Well,
like I thought Spider-Man, like, they just skipped it, and I thought that was great.
No,
I didn't need to see the whole origin story again.
Every single iteration.
But we're not talking origin. We're just talking the actual character.
Yeah. And following up with Akasan, I'll say this. We did actually have some time with Superman, Man of Steel, and BVS. But yes, in BVS, his time as Superman was cut short by a story that felt muddy in some areas because the studio wanted the director to add in 2 extra threads into it. So you ended up having with 3 storylines into one with no time because they didn't want to make it longer. They wanted him to keep it within a certain time period. Now, making it longer doesn't mean it's better, but it does mean you have a chance to get more story. Unfortunately, it's too much story for the time also. It's too many storylines. So BVS literally could have been 2, if not 3 movies.
And it should have.
But instead,
it
was
probably
1 movie with a bunch of threads into it that were nice to see as nods, but then it's like, wow, we're going quickly. Let's just go ahead and move on. Now, if they had Man of Steel 2 or a follow-up to Man of Steel after BVS and then Justice League, I think it would have been a lot easier and smoother, not just for casual fans, hardcore fans, and marketing. It just would have worked better.
I would have liked Batman to just kill him.
Not having Superman in a follow-up movie of his own, I think is a really disservice to the franchise as a whole.
Well, didn't he have the Batman versus Superman
character? Huh?
He was in Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, but so what is the title? Batman versus
Exactly.
Superman. It's a Batman movie, not a Superman.
It's
movie.
a Superman movie too.
No.
It
You're missing.
barely
You're missing
is-
it
it
completely.
barely
He's
resembles.
still there.
It
He's
is
still
a
there.
Batman movie with Superman and Wonder Woman in it. It's not a Superman movie.
His
The
name's in
focus is
title.
on Batman. If you look at it, you see all these homages of Superman going around the world, saving people, being a quote unquote hero, and yet you've taken Batman and made him a complete idiot and be like, look, I've got 18 months looking at all this footage and investigating him with all this money.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
decision.
1%
Let's kill the
chance.
I didn't say it was a
motherfucker.
good film. I didn't say it
Chance
was
that
a
he
good
might
film.
be evil, so I think we should take him out. No,
There's a
you just went
1%
from the
chance he
greatest
still might be
detective-
evil. Let's fucking kill him. Yeah,
Right.
come on.
Yeah.
Get
You
the
take,
fuck
you
out
take
of
a
here.
character that is known for being
World's
a
greatest
fantastic
detective, yeah.
detective
No,
Right?
to being a rookie. I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. If Lois Lane can find out all that information with no money in Man of Steel and Bruce Wayne can't, that's a huge story problem for me. And then he ends up fighting for no reason. You know, you have Superman who gets upset because, oh, what? Lex Luthor says that Batman's got, you got to defeat Batman or you can't go get your mom, but here's some Polaroids. What? Fuck you.
Yeah,
Come on, that's
yeah.
bad writing. Move on.
All right.
Anyway,
So
let Superman be a
So
bad guy.
all this Justice League, Superman being in Justice League and turning evil, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that if the point of the initial story is to eventually have the timeline be completely erased. Everything that we saw was the worst of everybody. And you move on to a brighter future. I'm down with that. I'm cool with that.
It's
But
Corona, let's keep
to
it dark.
not do at least a follow-up to that, to give the story a chance to do that and move away from it, like that's the closing of the Snyderverse, fine. And then you're rebooting characters or whatever, do that later, fine. Leave Superman alone. Leave Batman alone. Leave Wonder Woman alone. Give them a chance to work the stories out and move on from there. And it's not about
I say like
contracts,
Deadpool,
it's just storytelling.
DC dark.
Well, they're already
Let
doing
it-
a Justice League Dark. So, I mean, whatever. Who cares? Oh, there's a Zatanna movie coming out. Wow. Great.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to see her, but I'm not super interested in
Yeah.
her because these characters are already established and their storyline is cut short. That's not interesting.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, what do the fans want? Oh, okay. Let's give them everything else.
Yeah.
It's how it feels.
again, I would say there
I'm
is
just-
a very
Except
I would say-
Aquaman. I feel really satisfied with Aquaman. I thought that was an awesome movie.
Oh, I'm not, well, that's what I mean.
Best.
These characters are already established.
Yeah.
And their stories are cut short. So, I mean, you know, if you don't like Zack Snyder's style, then pair him with someone to do a follow-up movie.
I
So
agree.
the studio's happy, Zack Snyder's
That's fair.
happy, the fans are happy, and then move on.
I agree.
Yeah. I agree with that.
And I mean, here's something we also have to think about is like, because I don't mind Snyder continuing his story in a non-live action film. Like I'm fine if they animate it, they make a comic book. You know, Netflix has been doing great stuff with animation now, where it's kind of a mix between realistic type of look. You can have all the actors come back and reprise their roles doing voiceovers. I think they'd be happy about it because I honestly feel like everybody except Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa are pretty burnt out of this entire Justice League drama thing. I mean, Henry would love to come back regardless, but I don't necessarily know if Henry would want to come back as evil as Superman going down this route. Because I honestly, I was thinking about this last night. I'm just like, yo, if he only has one more, he probably only has one more movie on his contract or
He's
whatever.
doing
Oh,
two.
does he have two more left? Did he really sign a 5 deal? Really?
5 deal?
Because remember, the original plan, if you go back and look at Comic-Con from, was it 2016? 2007, when they did the panel of all the movies and things coming out, there was supposed to be a follow-up Superman movie, and it got cut.
Okay, so he signed a 5 deal, a 5 movie deal. Okay. Interesting. So I was just thinking about it last night, and I'm just like, man, like I really want him to just close out his contract, but as the Superman that we all know. And I felt like the theatrical version at least gave us a better lift-off point. Like for me, I felt like it was just bizarre as hell to see the iconic Superman as Clark Kent. He's doing the whole running thing. He's ripping open his shirt, and in the Snyder cut, it's all black and gray. Via the theatrical one, it's the classic. I'm like, that's cool, man. Like Superman is finally back. Superman is finally here. I just love for Henry to come back and close out his contract. Whether mixing it up with The Rock and Black Adam would be awesome. Doing his own Man of Steel movie or something. Mentoring Supergirl. I know that's happening as well. I mean, I really want him to come back, but I just don't want him coming in as the mopey and evil or possessed Kryptonian thing, just mad about Lois being burned alive and shit or whatever. So.
I get all that, but him being mad about Lois dying things is also because she was pregnant. Given
I get all that, but I still don't want to see that.
How did she get pregnant?
I also find I'm one of those people where it's like, okay, he's being manipulated by Darkseid because he's at his weakest point. Cool. I don't think that Lois dying should be the only factor or the main factor of him being at his weakest point. All of humanity dying, something of that nature, cool. That feels heavier. Lois dying, like, damn, dude, that sucks. Wonder Woman's over there. It just feels a little too light for me in the storytelling. So I'm happy that didn't happen. I see where they're going with it. If it happened, I hope that's not the entirety of the story. Maybe the opening to the movie. Like the nightmare, the nightmare to it is like, okay, this happens and all these people die, whatever. And then Flash somehow is able to make it back and change the storyline and bring Super back. Yes. Basically in a happier, brighter tone. I'd love that. That would be
real
perfect.
Quick.
But if
how
I
did
were
Lois
to do
Lane
it,
get
I wouldn't
pregnant?
have it in Superman. I would literally have Wonder Woman be turned, not Superman.
Yeah, DC. We talked about this with The Boys. How did Lois Lane get pregnant? I thought if Superman banged a human, then she'd basically pop her head off like a pest dispenser.
No, because in the comic books, Superman actually has he makes a formula so that she can actually get pregnant. But
he makes another universe.
No, he makes a formula.
A formula. Yeah, I couldn't hear.
And because when he does it, she ends up getting
uterus of steel.
She ends up getting the powers of a Kryptonian for 24 hours. And during that time, because she becomes Superman, during that time, that happens. But in the Snyderverse, what's supposed to happen is, or one of the things that's leaked, it's Batman when Superman is dead, and they're consoling each other, and one thing leads to another, and he ends up being raised.
How are you gonna cuckold Superman like that, bro?
And Lois. Superman's dead at that time. Superman's dead at the time. And in Snyder's verse, he was looking at it as Superman can't have kids until later. And it's hinted that him and Wonder Woman might, whatever. Who cares?
That would be awesome. That would be some interesting Jerry Springer DC shit.
It would, but
this is what we're dealing with.
Unnecessary. We don't need it.
No, of course it's not needed, but it does actually bring a lot of layers of character there.
Well,
drama does not.
It's too much. Having
scandals and dramas is like, yeah.
Can there ever be? I mean, Aka, you like fucking WWE.
like 10, 15 years ago, bro.
Years ago. Yeah, it's different.
That's when it was good.
Having Batman's son being raised by Superman and Lois, that adds a layer to it because he feels like he doesn't have it in him to raise a son because he's failed with Robin and other people. Putting him in Smallville and having Lois raise him, and Lois and Clark raise him, he feels he's in a good environment. And then later, when he's old enough, tells him, your real father is Bruce Wayne, and he becomes the next Batman. Okay, cool, whatever. That works too. Not saying that it's a great story, but it's better than having everybody banging everybody else and having kids from 16 other people.
That's the other thing.
But it would happen. Like that's the thing. Like it could have happened.
Yeah,
we don't need it. And to answer that person's question on the side, having a black Superman, I'm cool with that. If the storytelling is good, doesn't have to be in the same universe. It can be a standalone movie. That's fine. Or animated series. I'll be happy to voice his character, if not portray the character. But otherwise,
a black Superman, you can't say that's a bad idea. It'd be a good idea.
I think it's too soon to have that character now without getting rid of Zack Snyder's universe altogether.
I'm getting sick of the remakes and the different universes. I just say, like I said, it should be new characters.
Well,
Just pass
it's
the other
still
ones.
there are other Superman characters that aren't Clark Kent. You have a black Clark Kent from Earth D. You have Calvin Ellis from 23.
No,
You
I
have
know,
Zod
but
from Earth 2. You can do those without even messing with anything over here. And by the look on
Yeah.
Nakasan's face,
there's
he's
just
actually
so
tired
many
of the
different
topic.
characters.
Yeah, this is just retard. This is just it's comic nerd talk, but I'm just
It's
like
Comics Plus.
it's there you go. Fair enough. It's Comics Plus. It's time to like, but okay. The thing I wanted to talk to you guys about furthermore is the fact that like we're, and this is I guess the biggest argument, because I personally feel like this world is done. I'm glad that the Snyder Cut came out. I'm glad that we could finally get this mythical universe out here, that people could see the direction that Snyder was going with. But I also feel like it was this is a good enough a point to stop. I understand that Justice League was designed to also set up more stories and do more things, but I also I was never a big fan of the direction that Snyder was going, and I've already given my reasons as to why. I'm fine with them stopping it here. But at the same time, there is a fan base that really likes his stuff. WB has actually come in a few days ago and said, like, yeah, you know, Snyder closed out his contractual trilogy. He's moving on. We are moving. WB has been moving on for a long time. But this was just a way to just get this out here and let the Snyder fans see what work Snyder has created. But they have no plans to ever bring Snyder back, and no plans to do a Justice League 2 with Zack Snyder, or Justice League 2 and 3. On top of other issues, you know, Ray Fisher has his issue, big issues with the WB in general. Ben Affleck has already been kind of tired of dealing with Batman for a while now.
But like the recent news on him is that he wants to continue portraying Batman at least for another 2 films. That was released early this morning. Yeah, Batman, because he said because of the
Snyder Cut,
the Snyder Cut and fan reaction. He's
interesting.
Portraying the character again.
Okay,
I guess I've seen the fan reaction reinvigorated him into being like, "Hey, look, this actually has a place." I don't know, or he.
I bet you they're gonna do the rest of the Snyder Cut, like movies. I bet you fans will be excited and want it.
Well, and then here's the thing, but
just do a series on HBO Max.
I agree with that, and here's
that works.
And
what about doing a series?
Hold on, and
so I can pump them out.
Hold on a second, because here's the thing, because here some of the numbers have started to come in a few days ago, and it looks like the Snyder Cut, this is just based on one particular place that does analytics. So I'm paraphrasing this. This is not the final information. This is only based upon what one particular company does when they're tracking the ratings in Nielsen type of situations for people whose TVs are set up this way. And they stated that while these may be the numbers we have, it's not indicative of the full picture for all the movies. But the numbers came in for opening weekend. The Justice League actually did better than Falcon and the Winter Soldier with from Disney Plus. However, it did worse than Wonder Woman 84's opening weekend by 11% or so.
That's weird.
Well, it's not.
I would say no. Like,
in some places, servers went down, so they didn't have access to it. So that's another reason why they're like, "Hey, this isn't everything." But so far, from what we have, it didn't do well in these demographics without going into more detail.
Correct.
When you go into more
detail, Winter Soldier?
Like, I'm talking about Justice League. Some places servers went down, they couldn't get to it, they didn't see the premiere and all that kind of stuff. Those things happen, but disregarding all that, this is what happened, and this is what's happened so far. And that's another reason why they didn't make an announcement so far, because they're trying to see how this week goes to see, how did the numbers actually do, and see if it's viable to, okay, maybe we'll do something with this, or, well, that's good enough and move on altogether.
Right.
Well, and wasn't there something like now they check the downloads of movies as well?
But
I mean, there are torrent places that do
There's
that.
torrent places stuff, but
yeah.
That kind of stuff comes later.
Right. I mean, the main point is
so we don't really know at all, really.
I mean, but the main point is, does HBO, or not even HBO, does Warner Media, they've expressed that they have no interest in working with Snyder, but obviously that will change if the money is there.
They said the same shit about James Gunn too.
Well, I mean, James Gunn had stuff going on that was a little different.
Right, a little different.
Yeah, it is.
Conversation.
Snyder went through a lot of shit too, right?
But that's besides the point of like. I'm just talking about
the business wise,
right?
What works and what doesn't. So for the company, working with Zack Snyder means we can do these things, but it also comes with all these other, hitches. Or we can cut our losses, say thank you, great job, and move on from there and work in a different property altogether. Either way,
I don't have
having something
on what. So I was going to say, on a business side, I just think it's better for them to finish the story in an animated way. It's cheaper, it's less drama. The actors can come back. They can work with a great animation team instead of the producers that would oversee movies that have so many problems with behind the scenes. I just feel like that's probably the best way, because otherwise it would just be such a huge investment for so little to come back at this point. Because
that's
again,
why I also think doing it a series on HBO Max, it gives HBO Max a reason for getting new subscribers for.
Yes, exactly.
Are you saying live action or animated DC?
For me, I'm looking at.
He's saying live action.
I'm thinking live action. That way,
I agree.
Actors actually have a way to work their contracts out more, and it's FaceTime.
I agree with DC.
But also doing it as a series, you're not stuck into the constrictions of you have to do it in this time block. Okay, you've got 4 hours. Here's 4 episodes. Done. Your story's told. It's done over a 2-month period. Everybody's happy. Move on from there. Because a lot of stuff that they're doing now is coming out for HBO Max also. Justice League Dark. So I mean, these other properties that are coming out there anyway, just put it with the same thing. Just make a series. I mean, look at the
I think a series would be great.
Look at the success of WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier and The Mandalorian. They used small studios. They did a very large series, and it just worked well, and it's half the budget.
Gregor had a good point too. I felt that the writing for the movie was very dry, actually. I have to say that. I love the movie, but all the jokes were just dead to me. Like,
which one are you talking about?
I have no
idea. Like throughout the film, there was no part that made me laugh, really.
Yeah, I mean, that's Snyder in general, though. Like, I've been saying that. Like, I think that's one of the issues I have with him.
The dialogue writing was horrible. I have to say that.
I wouldn't say it's horrible. I just think it's mood. It's just mood.
Look at it as a funny.
No, you can see where they tried to be funny, like especially the Asian scientist as well in a lot of his scenes. You can see where they tried to be funny, and then it was just like wah wah wah.
It's scientist humor. That's why it's not funny.
No, don't give me that bullshit.
Guys, I gotta run.
Okay.
Sorry to cut short. I definitely want to catch up with you. I want to talk to you about Superman and Lois and some other stuff in general. JJ, good to see you.
I think you meant Aka.
I'm pointing to Aka. For you, JJ, that's why I said names after. Cut back on the smoking, drink more water. And,
I agree.
And I'll talk to you guys later. To the fans out there, much love. Sorry it's been so long, but great to see all of you. Thanks for the comments. Continue to support Comics Plus and keep it super.
Keep it super.
Good seeing DC.
Well, there you go. Yes, you would know about jokes there. So yeah. Superman and Lois is a great fucking show, man. It's like so good. Like by far, it's probably the most relatable Superman for me. So I really like that. So, okay. I think we're done then. All right. Is there anything else you want to? Is there?
I was gonna say.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to add or so?
Oh, I did want to say one scene that I loved was with the Flash. When Superman was beating the crap out of everyone, and the Flash moves super fast, and then you see Superman just slowly turn his
Oh, that was
head.
great. Yeah.
That was one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
And also, if you notice, Flash still did go a little faster than Superman, which proves back to the comics where Flash did beat Superman in a race, proving he was faster.
Yeah.
I love that as a fan.
I thought it was great. Do you remember the theatrical one?
Not that much.
Okay, so at the end of the theatrical version, they also have the race as well, which I thought was really cool. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it was such a cool little nod to the comics, and like, it just sucks because it was totally like, plastered by. It was overshadowed by the fucking reshoots in the mustache gate, so all people could focus on was how fucked up Henry Cavill's mouth looked, and how they oversaturated the image, so his bodysuit looked terrible as well. But I was like, damn, on papers, this looks pretty fucking dope. The fact that we can actually have a little nod to the comics that, you know, Flash and Superman are about to race for charity, and I'm like, yo, this is great. So, but whatever.
That's a shame they took that out.
Yeah, given the level of dissension we are in, rebooting is the best. I agree, because, like, again, JJ, like, I caught it earlier. We were talking about Ben Affleck, right, coming back for 2 more movies, but you're like, ugh, like,
I don't like Ben Affleck.
So, but that's my thing is like, okay, so you are against rebooting, but you are fine with having this dude stay as Batman. Then
that's a tough one.
See,
but I want to see Darkseid, and I want to see the end of that arc. And I hate to disagree with you. We don't disagree much, but I don't think it would work animated. And I do kind of agree with DC that it would have to be.
It has worked animated. That's the thing.
But what I mean by that is, like, I like DC. And when I used to watch, like, Batman the Animated and then Justice League, the cartoons back in the day, it was great. But I'd almost feel like if I started watching animated stuff again, I'd want to go and rewatch all that again.
What's wrong with that?
I don't have the time. I'm a comedian. I do sets 5 times a week.
You had time to watch a 4-hour movie, bro. You can watch it.
Well, it's Corona. I'm not doing comedy right now.
Yeah, okay. Like, come on. Like, if you had time to watch the Snydercut, you have time to watch an animated show. Like, it's all good. Yeah. DC fans, thank you for the $5 as well. DC fans will never be happy. End of story. I can't wait to hear. I agree, but I honestly do not think there's going to be there'll be little to no drama with the Matt Reeves Superman Batman, because
we all fuck up.
Because of the fact that this is a very trusted director. I mean, nobody had a problem with the Planet of the Apes for the most part. You know, this guy understands what the Batman fans want, and understands what is done for the purpose of a story versus what is done to just be edgy because it looks cool on screen or whatever. So that's my thought on that. So, you know, unless suddenly this dude fucking kills a pregnant woman or something in the movie, I don't think there will be much of a problem with the Batman or something like that.
Real quick though, Aka, the Batman is shaping up to look really good.
Oh,
and
man,
if they do that and they do make another Justice League movie, you're going to be kind of going, wait, who the fuck's Batman then? Right?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, like, if this new Batman, the Batman, does really good, I'm going to be wanting to watch him in the Justice League instead of Ben Affleck, really. So, and it's like, I feel the DC universe is kind of all over the place.
Okay.
So it's...
I would say I would say I understand what you're getting at, because I've already seen enough people, even with that Joker scene with Jared Leto, people are like, why couldn't they have gotten Joaquin Phoenix to do that role like that? And I get that point. And then even when, like, my girlfriend, she was watching the Batman trailer with me, and she asked me, you know, is that Christian Bale? Like that. And I'm like, no, this is an all new one. So I think there's always going to be that problem the further they go. It's just more or less WB's responsibility to establish these universes a little bit better like that. So, you know, I don't think we need we don't need a continuation of Batman. Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. I mean,
No.
but look at it this way. In the same in a different franchise, we're about to get a movie that focuses on the multiverse, which is the Doctor Strange. The next Doctor Strange movie is going to be the multitude of the multiverse of magnitude or something like that.
Yeah,
and then furthermore, the next Spider-Man movie is rumored to essentially have all three of the Spider-Men in this
I heard
movie.
that.
So I don't think it's that big of a deal. I just think it's really it's really up to the WB to establish a lot better what universes are blah blah blah, you know, what universes are contained in what area like that. So
what are the WB doing? Like, I mean, we always get it, everyone gets into this debate, but yeah, like you said with the Joker, it should have been Phoenix. Like, if he did that, it would have had a way bigger impact. It would have been,
but at the same time,
fans,
they weren't about to waste the money on Joaquin Phoenix just for that scene, you know?
Yeah,
like, and
are they handling their money right?
but particularly Jared Leto is within the DCEU, whereas Joker is outside of the DC.
I understand.
Joaquin's Joker, like that. So I think it's fine. I think it's fine. You know, I just feel like you know, honestly, I'm so mentally exhausted about this situation. There's so much behind the scenes drama. You know, if they want to bring back the Justice League in some form or fashion and they do it without Snyder, I think that's fine as well. Technically, the Snyder cut is non-canon. The theatrical version, the way they wrapped it up, that's the way WB wants it to be. And see, they said from the beginning, they're like, look, if we let you put this Snyder cut out, you need to understand that the theatrical version, the story we made, that's the one that is canon. That's why we're calling it
now. I mean, it makes
do you mean?
Way more sense now after seeing the Snyder cut with Darkseid and everything.
Yeah, what about it?
If that's not canon, man, I feel they're digging their own grave. Like,
why?
Because just having it Steppenwolf didn't make a hell of a lot of sense. And then after seeing Darkseid pulling the strings, everything,
well, I mean, it's not
brought
so
it all together.
I mean, but I don't think it's so different than when we saw Loki coming in the first Avengers movie. We saw a glimpse of Thanos at the end, and that was it, you know. And he was mentioned in name in Avengers. No, he was mentioned in Thanos was mentioned not in name, but he was mentioned just a bit in Avengers when Loki was talking to whatever that Marvel Desaad version was. I forgot what his name was too, fake ass Desaad. But you know, in the theatrical version, Steppenwolf does mention Darkseid by name just for a minute. He's like, he's doing this for Darkseid, and that's kind of enough. The thing is, with the Snyder cut version does a better job of does the job of introducing Darkseid, young Darkseid, the mythos of Darkseid, and then they finally show Darkseid, which I personally think was a little way too much. That you're going to do all of that to kind of like downgrade Steppenwolf. Yeah, where like I'm like, yo, you did basically this entire movie was a setup for Darkseid instead of, and it kind of like took away from Steppenwolf in some sense. Whereas the theatrical version was, look, Steppenwolf is just basically the big bad, and that's it. And then in the future, there may be something more than to that. I'm not saying either version is actually better than the other at this point. As a fan, the Snyder cut is better, but I also see, like, in terms of storytelling and getting people to like hang on and be ready for some of this stuff, the theatrical one kind of wrapped it up nice and was like, okay, Now they're gonna do their separate things. Let's just do some like I'll never forget the feeling after the theatrical one was like, I'm exhausted. I'm just so done with team up movies. Let's just do individual movies for a while, and then when the time is right, I want to come back to a team up movie when it feels earned. There was something just really weird about seeing all of them together without
It was
really
rushed.
yeah,
Really
right?
rushed.
Right? Like just seeing all of them together without them actually like really building into it like that.
Like Cyborg, after seeing his backstory, I really wanted his own movie.
Yeah.
And with the first scene in the beginning of the film with Wonder Woman, I like the purpose of it could have been said in 2 sentences instead. Like that's how I kind of felt. I loved the scene. I loved it, but it took up like a good 20-30 minutes right in the beginning. I was like, fuck, he could have just been like she could have went to Wonder Woman and been like, we lost a battle. Like done. And then they could have had all that shit in there.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's the thing. It's like I think a lot of it was excessive and a lot of fan service. But you know, it's fine because it was the Snyder Cut was for the fans. So that's fine for the people that really wanted to see this full vision. I just think on the business side of it, it was just very excessive. There was a lot going on. And you know, that doesn't just because we see somebody like DC mentioned it earlier, just because we see Ray Palmer being mentioned, it's good that he's mentioned in the Snyder Cut, but that doesn't 100% guarantee they're going to produce a movie based on this cameo that he had. So I think there's very much a balance. There's very much a balance of telling an entertaining story, leaving more, sprinkling some for more, versus going overblown and adding things in, because you can't necessarily, because if that's the case, we can't be crapping on Sony when Sony does the same thing with Spider-Man 3, or was it 2? Maybe it was Spider-Man 2, when they started adding in 3 villains and all of this, people were saying, whoa, that's too much, like that. And they're saying the same thing about this Spider-Man coming up. Sony, what are you doing? You're trying to add in so much. You know, we can't say that about Sony's work, and then suddenly we say, well, in the Snyder Cut, it's fine because he has 4 hours. So, you know, there's definitely needs to be a balance on both sides. So,
yeah.
Anyways, all right.
I get you.
Yeah. What time is it over there? It's pretty late, right?
8:20.
Oh, you're fine, dude. Why are you so tired?
I'm busy. I packed in 3 days, moved all the way back to Canada, and then I had to help my dad. He just got over cancer for the 3rd time, so I'm taking care of the family, and he can't go outside. I got a lot on my plate right now.
I understand, man. I understand. All right. Well, I'll let you go. I'm gonna probably take a few calls here and answer.
All right.
If you but if you want to leave, that's fine too. You can
go.
Thank you for the $5 zip blocks. I appreciate that. I'm more interested in the stuff that is not Marvel or DC. Amazon's Prime. Invincible is gonna be really cool, man.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. Invincible.
What's Jupiter's Legacy again?
That's one's on Netflix. It looks pretty interesting as well. Yeah. I don't know much about it though, so and I want to keep it that way because I don't really like having fans playing nations. Yeah, like I'm like, if I have a background it kind of ruins it sometimes, so I'd rather just take it fresh, blind. The Boys, of course, and Umbrella Academy, very well.
We got to get the boys back to watch the Boys again, man.
Oh man, the Boys,
love
it. Yeah.
And then maybe this time I can join you with Umbrella Academy too. I didn't get to for season 2, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. You know, but see, for me personally, I feel like Umbrella Academy is not really like a reactionable show.
It's really a chill one. You're right.
Right.
But
you know, it's a very slow burn. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel. And I like that. I kind of like the fact that I watch it just like on its own, just without like the sort of like camera on it, so it's all good. So yeah, Invincible I think starts tomorrow actually. So,
really?
Yeah.
Damn, I gotta get on shit.
Yep, Invincible starts tomorrow, and look, it's animated, so I know how you feel about that, but
riding me. I like animated. It's just I gotta catch up. I mean, the DC animated universe is blown out so much right now, and I got so much to watch. I still have to watch Star Wars Clone Wars, dude.
Yep, 1 hour long. I mean, you're so close too. You're on the final season. That's crazy. You got to finish it. Yeah,
just, like,
1
3,
hour
4
episodes of Invincible. That's going to be crazy. Like, it's been a while since I've even heard of an animated series being 1 hour. So yeah,
right, man.
yeah.
I'm gonna actually piece and get dinner, and that way it gives you a little bit of time to get calls and that. But it was fun, man.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And thank you everybody for watching. It was fun. I love reading your comments.
Check out his channel, guys. Yeah, make sure you check out JJ's
sending
channel.
that moolah his way. Appreciate you all. Okay. See you guys next time.
Peace. All right. And then there was me. Let me take a look here. I have not watched Hunters on Amazon here. Oh fuck, I gotta stop live streaming on YouTube for reals, man. For reals. Like every time I live stream, people think people think that people are unsubscribing from me because of my takes on things, but I've literally, ever since we started this live stream, I've literally been looking at the subscriptions, the sub count dropped by 20 right here. We were at 200 210 or something like that. So but then now it's like a 185. So it's kind of like YouTube, they keep saying that there's no problem with it, but I'm like, yo, there is legit a problem every time I stream on YouTube. It sub kicks people and what have you not. So that's why you guys can definitely check me out on Twitch. Okay, that's the best way. That's why I really only streamed it. So the only time I try to whenever I do stream on YouTube, it's for these special events, because I don't really like it. Like I don't care so much about the sub number, but people always want to do some sort of dick measuring contest with me with this shit. Like, accent, that's why you and you wonder why you have so many little subs. I'm like, I don't really wonder. I know it's because every time I stream, YouTube will sub kick like 50 something subscribers. So it just really screws up the algorithm and such. So, you know, I'm all good for keeping it on Twitch for the most part, which you can check out with me in about, I'd say about 15 minutes or something, 15, 30 minutes. I got to figure out what kind of game to play. It'll be the first time. Oh, no, never mind. I'll probably be doing Jujutsu no Kaisen, Jujutsu no Kaisen, and probably some watch-alongs along that route. On Twitch, and then you can check that out on Patreon after that. So make sure you follow me, aka SAN_plays, aka SAN_plays, Akasan_plays. And as I also mentioned, the Snydercut is now up. I forgot to do something. Okay, I got a sponsorship, so I need to advertise. There's a Snydercut sponsorship that I got that I need to update you guys with. Anyways, and make sure, guys, if you want to continue just that world of the Snydercut, I highly recommend you guys check out Justice League. Let me show you guys Justice League Dark. It's called Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. I highly recommend you guys check this out, because it is by far, if you want to kind of continue this world, I know Snyder Bros get so mad when I start suggesting more DC content, which is weird, but you know, just definitely check this out. It's really a cool story, man. In all likely, for the most part, and thank you for following me, Don on Twitch right now. For the most part, this starts off essentially the same way the Snydercut basically leaves. For the most part, Superman was resurrected. He came back from the dead. He's fucking pissed at Apocalypse. or he's pissed at Darkseid, and he's like, look, the threat is on Apocalypse. Let's go. Let's do this, basically. And he's like, riggedy row, you know? It's a really cool story, and it's essentially every fan's dream of what they would recommend, or what they would do if they had like a perfect Hollywood Justice League type of story. I really recommend you guys check that out. And then the other one, of course, for further reading, is I really definitely think you should check out the paperback edition. Just a moment, I'm finding it for you. Okay. What? Okay, hold on. Okay. So here we go. So I really recommend you also check out Injustice as well. This is written by Tom Taylor, and a lot of the Snyder beats were inspired by this particular story. A lot, you know, when it comes to the whole Lois being pregnant and things like that, that's kind of like a lot where a lot of this, where you get a lot of this from. So I highly recommend you check this out. Now, this is very, very different. This is also inspired, not necessarily inspired, but it was written with it was based on a video game that was done by the same people that did Mortal Kombat and things like that. But it's probably one of the best tellings. If you really like evil Superman but you want it to make sense, I highly recommend you check this story out. It takes a fat nerd vegan beast, thank you for following me on Twitch. I highly recommend this particular one because it really shows the slow descent. Superman doesn't just suddenly become evil or whatever because of one thing. It's not just one thing. It's a bunch of different things that happen. And you can see right here in this image, you see Superman crushing this dude's head or whatever, right? Crushing Batman's cowl like that. So, you know, it's a really, really cool story. Tom Taylor did a great job in establishing why Superman becomes quote unquote evil, and the slow build to him becoming Injustice. And, you know, what makes it even better is the fact that it's a multiverse. It's established. It's not your core characters, but it's an alternative timeline and it's alternative universe. But you're still going to have your canon characters, but the story itself mainly takes place within the alternative universe. For the most part, you think it's canon, it's the main characters, and then later they bring your canon characters in. So I think they really told that story very well. Blade also recommended another one. I would, you know what? I'd actually, if you want more Darkseid by himself. There's the comic book I thought was a little bit better, but I definitely recommend, yes, Batman, Superman, Apocalypse. Don't let the artwork fool you. Yeah, do not let the artwork fool you. The cover art fool you. Just a moment. I'm trying to, it's not coming up correctly. Okay, I found it. It's a really cool, this one's really cool as well. Yeah. Batman, Superman, Apocalypse. Such a cool story. Again, the cover art, I think what could have been done a little bit better, but because it's not indicative to the actual art style. Now, this one was the comic book. Oh my God, I forgot his name. He died quite some time ago, but he was a very well-renowned comic book artist. Michael Stas, I can't pronounce his name, but the comic book is beautiful, and I think this is very much so about this is very well done. The animation matches his art style as best as he can. This dude has done a lot of cross hatching style, very similar to Jim Lee, but oh, there it is. This is his work right here. And it's very, very beautiful. It's some of the best Batman I've ever seen. But the animated edition does a very good job. And I believe someone fairly famous does the voice of Oh my God, I know she's actually everybody knows her, but I can't remember her name now. Who did the voice of who that somebody does his voice, yeah. But yeah, and you get some great one-liners in here. Superman is it's really good. I highly recommend reading the comic first, though. No, you know what? I take that back. Watch the animated show, watch the animated story first, and then read the comic because you get more out of the comic, but more details out of the comic. But watching it in animated form, oh my God! Like this is the this is the Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman movie I wanted to see. I would love to see. You get Warrior Diana taking on a Doomsday, an army of Doomsday bots or whatever. It's a really, man, it's a good story. You got Barda in here. It works really well, guys. So yeah, I definitely recommend you check. You get Batman you get Batman taking on Darkseid, and then the guy that does the voice of Darkseid is the captain in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the gay captain. So yeah, some really good stuff, guys. I highly recommend. So those are some of my recommendations for a lot of you guys. It's some good stuff. And of course, you know, honestly, I highly recommend you check out Superman and Lois as well. Yes, that is one of them, Vice Skywalker. Kevin, yep, Susan, Kevin, Tim, the Trinity. They're all there. And I highly recommend you check out Superman and Lois. They're going to be on break for 2 months now. So this is a great time for you to check out the first 5 episodes that have come out. And I have to tell you, all I'm gonna say is that there's a way better Martha moment in Superman and Lois episode 5, and it had me in tears how good it really was. It was this show, I cannot praise this show enough, how good they handle my relatable Superman. And I'm not saying this as a slight to Henry, but because I think Henry is the best looking Superman we've ever had. They just don't really utilize him the right way. They only take one side of him. They really focus on his Kryptonian side a lot. But I think Superman and Lois has done a really good job of showing what Superman's greatest challenge really is not these bad guys and these metas, but really just being a father and trying to keep his family together. So they do a really good job on that one. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that. Yes, thank you. It was yes, and it's also written by the same writers as the first seasons of Flash and Arrow. So yeah, man. So yeah, no, keep on working with Superman and Lois. It may not be for you guys, I don't know, but to me, I think it's a very good balance and good pacing in terms of the explaining Clark's, it shows more of the Clark side of Superman and why that's so important to his being and his definition of Superman. So yeah, man, some really good stuff. I highly recommend you check that out. In terms of Batman stuff, we are going to be on kind of a hiatus, I guess, for a while. There's not much in terms of Batman stuff, but I do also want to encourage a lot of you guys. Let me see. Warner Brothers just hit me up a little earlier today. Let me check the VIP my email. They just hit me up a little while ago. There's a new clip that in terms of animation, you guys should definitely check out. It's, oh my God. Sorry, I'm just going to check my phone. It's like the easiest way. This computer is locked out of my private account. Okay. So Justice Society, World War II. This one would be really good for you guys to check out. I think this is more of a little bit it's a little harder, I think, for some people to digest. But if you're familiar with the Flash and things like that, I personally, so when I saw the animation to this, I thought this looked pretty damn cool. So I'm not saying this is going to be for everybody, but I like the idea that they're, that's the coolest thing about the animation divisions, is that they really go deep into this sort of stuff. And shows this sort of world a lot more. So, but what's cool about this is the fact that you still are going to get main continuity Flash going back in time, working with these heroes. So you got some great voice actors as well. Matthew Boomer is in it. A few other people stuff. It's a good fresh little take. Again, it may not be it may not be your take on it, but for some people, I think I really appreciate the animated style. It's very similar to Superman, Man of Tomorrow and stuff. So there you guys go. All right, I'm gonna take a shower and get ready to start streaming on Twitch and probably eat breakfast as well. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me so late. I realized that with daylight savings times now, I start my streams an hour later because there's no way I'm waking up at 8 o'clock to start streaming for you guys in America and such. But it is what it is. Gotta say, Akasan, if people unsubscribe to you, those people are not open-minded. They unsubscribe simply because they disagree with you. More power to you, Akasan. Yeah, I mean, you know who said it the other day? Somebody said it very well the other day, was the fact that YouTube has just kind of become this weird cesspool of, you basically just subscribe to people. You subscribe to people just to hear your own opinion being reiterated to you. So it's just kind of like a world of circle jerking and reach arounds, right? So it's very weird, because like I never started YouTube for that reason. Like people are saying like you need to make more positive videos, but I'm like, that's never what I wanted to do. Like even before YouTube, I was always like, man, I wish they my bad. My bad. Sorry. That was the Snyder Bros trying to take, yeah, WB pulled the plug on my ass, dude. Like I just hit the wrong button or something like that. I was trying to do something that obviously did not work out. But I was trying to bring up something really quick from High Top Films. Here we go. He says, just a moment. It's so weird, like how quiet it is now without anybody around. But DC Sun needs to work on his audio skills there. There you go. He was like, it's so weird that film YouTube exists in the mind of most viewers to validate their own opinions. They click to hear their thoughts reiterated by someone with a platform. That's so boring, I completely agree with that. I completely agree. And so I responded back that, reviews are just supposed to be a good old reach around. You'll follow me on Twitch if you guys want. I have lots of interesting takes, and it is what it is on that side. A good old reach around. And yeah, no, you're right. You're right about that with Grace Randolph, and like, you know, it's good. Like you think that people would want to subscribe to you based on your opinion and what you think, but you know, if it doesn't match what you say, it's like, it's so weird. It's very weird. And then that's what really annoys me sometimes, when people do this like dick measuring contest of like, well, that's why you only have such and such subscribers, but this person has other. Why do you think that is? Huh? And I'm like, what? Are you serious? Are you serious? That's why I should be doing these YouTube videos, just so I can circle jerk and reach around with everybody? Come on now. Oh my God. All right. Anyways, we're done, guys, for today. We are done. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys later on Twitch, and that will be that. Okay. Oh, here's a little thing at the end of the Snyder Cut. Look at that. It actually spells out end. The Omega Beans. Very interesting. All right. Guys, packing, so jokes on them. Okay, yes. And that's cool. You know what? No matter what I do, I'm always keep it to you guys. I'm gonna keep it to you guys 100% honest. All right. All right, y'all. I'll see you guys in about 20 minutes or something on Twitch. I need to make sure you guys check out the Snyder Cut is now available. All parts of them, part 5, all of them, they're all on YouTube. Obviously, people are irritated with me with my takes on it, I guess. Even though I actually really liked part 5 and part 6 and all of that. You guys make sure you check it out. Defend me if you want or not. I don't care. I'm just glad this is finally all over with for now. Take care of yourselves, guys. I'm out of here. Goodbye. Dun 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 dun. Bye bye.